Welcome to Astrometrical. I'm Daniel Paul and I'm going to show you how to create a work and upload an image. The first thing we need to do is go to our account, which you can do by clicking your avatar at the top right of the screen, or you can always find your account via the navigation drawer at the bottom of the application. Once you're in your account, you can see that there's tabs here for works, collections and articles, and we're going to press the little plus button here to add something new. Now we can create a work, a collection or an article via this pop-up. We're going to create a work. Now we're going to upload an image of the Carina Nebula. You might want to pick a nicer title than this, but we'll go with this for the moment. So we'll go create and edit. Now we've got our work with all of the different sections that we can fill in information about the work, and one of the most important things of course is the image that we want to put into this work. So we're going to choose an image, which has popped up a dialog that you can't see on screen, so give me a moment while I just navigate and select my image. Now this is a nearly 200 megabyte image, and you can see here it's Carina Nebula rasa.png, 190 megabytes in size, fairly high resolution image. And we say what format do we want to upload our image in, and you can choose between lossless and lossy formats. WebP and PNG you've probably heard about. WebP is like JPEG. Be very fast in terms of uploads and people viewing who have to download parts of the image for viewing, but the quality won't be as good, and depending on the type of image, that might be just what you're after. You can use PNG for lossless, which will be heavier on downloads and heavier on the rendering, or we can use AVIF, which I've marked as experimental because browser support is, well, it's probably close to 100% these days, but until we're confident that it's a good format to use, we'll leave it as marked as experimental. And I'm going to upload this one using WebP. Okay, so I've chosen the format and I'll go upload image. Now if you care about the details in your image, say you're doing something with a lot of very, very fine detail, or stars which are really a big part of the image, then you might want to use a lossless format. It'll give the best viewing experience in terms of quality, but it will be more expensive in terms of network traffic, the time to load the image, and the rendering performance. So what's actually happening here is in the browser it's loaded the image and it's broken it up into a whole lot of individual tiles, and then from those tiles it's uploading the very fine detailed high resolution tiles, but then calculating lower resolution versions of it, and lower and lower and lower, making this big pyramid of tiles. And what that lets us do is we can recreate parts of the image at any resolution very, very quickly. So that's what we would call a multi-resolution format. So this allows the users to control how they zoom in and out on an image without ever having to load the entire image into their web browser before they start viewing. It also means that it can show a low resolution version of the image somewhere, say for a thumbnail or other things, without us having to explicitly extract a thumbnail and store it and cache it. And importantly, you never have to think about cropping and resolution and all of that. It will always be optimal for the web browser that's being used to view the image. So it won't be like it's fuzzy or blurry on one browser, say with a big display, and then nice and sharp on a smaller display. Okay, so this is just about done. The preview image that it's generating right now is one that's used for search engine optimization and sharing on social networks, and finalizing, and we're done. So that was a high resolution 200 megabyte image uploaded, and it's now displaying the image that it's uploaded, but it had to re-download the tiles using that multi-resolution format that we're talking about. So we can see that the image is in the system now, and if you wanted to, you could just stop there and say that's That's all I want to do. I just want my image shown. But the way that Astrometrical works is that you want to think about how people might navigate the regions of interest of your image. Like you might want to showcase, you know, different nebula like this over here, or parts of the core. I've got the keyhole nebula over here. And so we have this concept of regions of interest, which you can think of like you might do a crop if you're posting on social media. So what we can do is, I'd like to have a region of interest, which is the entire image, which is how it is at the moment. So I'll just say capture the current view as a region of interest, because I want that one. But then we might want to zoom into the core a bit. So using my mouse, rolly wheel in, if you're on a mobile device or have a touch screen, you can use pinch to zoom. And you can see down here there's a little navigator that shows me the little red square where I am in the whole image. But here I've got the keyhole nebula, and I think that's quite a nice view of that, so I'll capture that, and you can see it's building up a list of different regions here. Then I might find Mystic Mountain. Now I'm zoomed in probably more than what this image really supports, but we'll take that anyway. Capture Mystic Mountain, and of course up here we might go to the Gabriella Mistral nebula. The what did Webb call it? The cosmic cliffs up here, and we'll capture that as well. And so if we now look at our list, we've got 4 regions here, and you can go and type into these if you'd like to give them labels. If you do give them labels, that when the user navigates between them, they'll appear on the screen as well. Now when we've set our regions of interest, we can pick one to be the cover image, and we might want to take a view like this. So let's capture this one. I might want to use this as the cover image. Now the cover image will be used when you show a thumbnail, like in the gallery or search results. And so this last one here, I can click this little button that says cover, and so now it's selected as the cover. But sometimes you might want to have an image like that which is used for the cover, but you don't really want the user navigating to it. It was to, you know, use it as a nice image to show people, to lure them in, but it's not actually the point of interest that you want to show them, in which case you can click only, which would be cover only. It won't be shown to the user as something they can navigate to. But we're going to leave that just as the cover as it is. Now you can create as many regions of interest as you like to show off different parts of your image, and regions of interest are quite an important concept, because if you look at the behind us on the screen, there's a slideshow. It's doing like a tour through images produced by the Vera C. Rubin Observatory, and what it's doing is just navigating from region of interest to region of interest. When I say that, it's actually it's actually not in that mode. I wonder if I can change that. Just a second. Okay. It was in a mode where it was just flicking between the images. Now it's going to hopefully tour. I'll just make it, force it to skip. There we go. Now it's zooming in to all these different regions of interest within the images, and of course these are very high resolution images, so there's a lot of really interesting things to see if I get out of the way. So defining regions of interest lets us build upon the image without taking crops at a specific resolution and then being stuck with that. So the user can navigate your image now, but you can guide them with this concept of regions of interest. Later we're going to build upon that by building various concepts of tours, and long term there's going to be sort of a concept of guided tours through one or more works, where you can show the user things of interest, which is where your regions of interest will be very, very useful. Okay, so we've uploaded our image and defined our regions of interest and defined our cover. And if I just go back from here, we're going to give a description. I prepared one over here that I will just cut and paste. Now this supports Markdown, so if you wanted to use bold and italics and headings and bullet point lists, you can. So feel free to get creative with how you do your descriptions. This was taken in Gidgegannup in Western Australia. Now, attribution, if you had a third-party image, say from NASA or something like that, we can put the proper attribution in here, or if you're sharing somebody else's image with permission, put the attribution in here, put an external link to the source if you have one, and of course tags. Now, tags are quite important, and we're going to use at least the nebula tag for this one. Tags are important because the system uses tags to group and associate the different works together. So when we look at a work, there's like related works that the user can navigate to, and in part that's pulled together by looking at the tags that they have in common. Okay, so this is kind of the most basic setup that we'd do. I'm going to save that. We can put in a lot more information, which we'll come to in later videos, but right now we're going to have a look at our image that we've just uploaded. Here it is here. And you can see here are our regions of interest, and I can click on the regions of interest and it takes us around the image, and you can highlight to the user. If you set the labels, they would appear in the viewport here. Your description is shown here. You can type as much as you like or be as brief as you like. If you want to do something that's quite lengthy, you might want to consider writing an article rather than putting a lengthy description into the work itself. We support comments from other users as well as likes, and it tracks view counts and that sort of thing. And we have more from this user, and we have related works. These are all nebula because we only put the one tag on it. Okay, so the last thing to highlight here is that this image here is always interactive. You can always zoom in. So even when you click on a region of interest, if the user wants to zoom in, they can just zoom in, and it's quite natural because it feels like what you would do, particularly on a mobile device. It's just pinch to zoom, and you can reveal more detail by zooming in. There's also a full screen mode, so you can really get a good look at the image. Okay, so we'll just zoom out and have a look at this. There we go. So you can imagine, a user just coming in and exploring all of this nebulosity, having a great time. Might comment on the halo, the reflection around my stars. Fix that. Got new filters. And just enjoying the imagery. It's not static, it's interactive, and this is just the start of the interactive experiences that they're going to have within Astrometrical. Okay, thanks for watching. In the next video we'll look at putting in some more metadata to capture all the important details about your work.